DTV and Stormin Norman. How you doing, Senator?
Doing great, Norman. Always good to see you.
Yeah, I know you're busy as hell, and you're running, and you're on Zoom calls. What do you think about this election? I mean, what's your thoughts?
First, everybody has to get out and vote. I think this is the most important election of our lifetimes. Folks who know anybody in Pennsylvania, that is quite possibly going to be the linchpin, the turning point state, the keystone state, and it will not be resolved for days after Election Day. In Delaware, I'm optimistic we will have a safe and healthy and relatively swift election result. If there's folks watching who've got any questions, you can go to ivote.de.gov, put in your address, put in your name, and figure out exactly where you're supposed to vote, what's the status of your mail-in ballot, get clarity about hours and locations and such. Given the closeness of the election and the mail timing, I'd encourage folks who haven't voted by mail at this point to go and drop it in a box that's at every one of the county election headquarters.
You could drop it in a box?
You can come up, drop it in the box, walk away.
Right now? Where exactly that is? So folks
State Building, Carvel State Building, downtown Wilmington.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah. During office hours, there's a collection box from the Department of Elections. You can literally drop in your mail-in ballot.
So that's the ballot that they mail to you?
Right.
Can you go to the Carvel State Building and get a ballot and do that? No.
I think you can. But I'd look at ivote.de.gov. Right. Because I believe you can go to the Carvel State Office building, say, I want to vote absentee. They'll hand you a ballot. You fill it out right there. Do
you think that the Senate will turn?
I think it will. I think it'll be very close. I think we'll end up with 51, maybe 52 Democrats. There are some encouraging signs about just how many people have voted early. 50 million people have voted early. And it looks from some of the early results that it's skewing younger and towards Democrats. But I'm expecting a huge turnout of Republicans on Election Day.
That's one point, yeah. But if it turns, man, I got to really be suck up to you, man, because you'll be a real powerful guy.
Stop.
Let me ask you, I know you have a lot of time. A lot of people, when I get calls from all around the country, right? I was talking to my good friend, Sonny Vaccaro. Matter of fact, he said, tell you hi. Some people are frustrated. I even heard the congresswoman from New York saying, these guys in Senate got to get some, Democrats get some balls, right? Meaning, right, that if we do take over Senate, would you guys change the rules for the judiciary, United States Supreme Court, and add more members? Because what these guys just did was criminal.
So what they just did has divided us and has made us more bitter than we've ever been in the 10 years that I've been.
Lindsey Graham is like a scumbag, man. I mean, God, no, I hate to say that. No, I don't hate to say it.
You don't hate to say it. That's okay. You can say that.
I say anything I want. It's Crossfire.
Yes,
but I mean, I look at how he turned on his friend John McCain. I look at Donald Trump stuff, and now he's like, then he says he's not going to vote for it. Then he's saying, F it. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Right.
That's crazy.
So
but would you guys do that?
In the hearings for Judge Barrett, I specifically said to Chairman Graham, did you not say 4 years ago and 2 years ago, we won't hold a confirmation hearing?
He got a commercial. He said it, yes.
Yeah. So Joe Biden has said that if elected, he'll put together a commission to look at not just the Supreme Court, but all the federal courts, the ways in which over the last 4 years, the Supreme Court, the circuit courts, and the district courts have been flooded with conservative, right-wing, young, and in a dozen cases, demonstrably unqualified new judges. So there's different proposals for how we could address that and rebalance the courts.
You guys would have the power to do that?
We would only have the power to do that if we changed the rules of the Senate. That would require us to end the filibuster legislatively and then pass laws creating new judgeships. We could do that.
Would that be supermajority or just majority?
That would require, we can do that with 51 votes.
Okay.
But it breaks the rules of the Senate and changes our direction. So here's the good news, bad news. Back when Republicans were refusing to give Barack Obama confirmation votes to fill seats in the circuit courts and the district courts, they refused. We got very frustrated, and I was one of many who voted to change the rules in exactly this way, end the filibuster for the district and circuit courts. One of our colleagues, Senator Levin of Michigan, now retired, stood up and said, you will regret this. A day will come, someday, might be sooner than you think, where the fact that you did this and took this away is going to hurt you. These last 4 years, that was someday.
Wow.
We paid the price for that, not 10 years later, not 6 years later, 2 years later. And that's what made possible the Republicans just jamming through these extreme right-wing judges. So all I'm saying is, It will feel good. It will scratch an itch, and it will allow us to do some big things with taxes, with spending, with fighting climate change, with addressing racial injustice, with dealing with the pandemic. There's a lot of big things we could do more quickly if we got rid of the legislative filibuster. But the next time the Republicans have the majority, they'll turn right around and they will pass laws that they cannot pass now because of that filibuster.
Do you think Donald Trump, what grade would you give him for handling the pandemic, this COVID-19?
D-.
D-.
Maybe an F.
Wow, that bad?
He got handed a plan from the Obama administration. Actually, Susan Rice briefed the Obama to Trump transition team on their existing plan for how to deal with the pandemic because they'd lived through several, right? There was an H1N1 pandemic, there was a SARS pandemic, and there was the Ebola pandemic. None of them really impacted the United States like this one, but they could all see it coming. You know, I went to West Africa during Ebola 6 years ago. People like Bill Gates, who funds this big foundation, one of his fixations has been preparing for a global pandemic. He came and met with me several times. The Obama administration had a whole team of people, domestically and internationally, waiting for the next pandemic, had a whole stockpile and had a plan. This administration threw out the plan, fired, dismissed, or reallocated most of the people responsible for pandemic preparedness. And when told in February, this is dangerous, this is going to kill people, you must take immediate action, Trump said, no. I don't need to listen to some Dr. Fauci dude. I don't need to.
That's crazy.
We're just going to, right? Remember, he said,
yeah, absolutely.
He said it's going to go away. When it gets warmer, it's all just going to disappear. And Dr. Fauci said publicly and privately, so did Dr. Redfield from the CDC. He briefed the Senate on this. They said, in the fall, this will come back harder than ever. And that is exactly what's happening right now.
I know you're running.
And 700 Delawareans have died.
I know, it's crazy. Let me ask you a really tough question. I know you got to run, right? Do you think the president's a racist?
Yes.
You think he's racist?
Yes.
And you said that without even...
I'm not hesitating. I've had plenty of opportunities to be with him and around him. Here's what I mean. Is it possible that he has business partners, friends, colleagues of all backgrounds and races? Yes. Is it possible that in some settings he's conducted himself in a decent, open-hearted way? Yes. But has he adopted policies and said things and done things that I think are unmistakably racist? Yes.
I mean, you're close to it. I mean, you're closer to it than
I've had dinner with him. I've had breakfast with him. I've traveled with him. I mean, my role in the National Prayer Breakfast gave me direct exposure to him and how he thinks and how he talks. And I'm not trying to bring that into this.
But
I'm just saying.
But you know, it's funny because you're not that kind of person.
No, I don't throw that around. I don't throw that around.
I know. That's why I knew.
When he came down the escalator in Trump Tower and then announced he was running in 2016 early, that opening speech about Mexicans being rapists, and the way he's treated Muslim Americans and enacted that Muslim ban, right? I mean, it's one of his first things. We're going to block Muslims from coming to this country. Wow. And then decision after decision about immigration, his comments about Africa, his comments about any country run by a black man.
What about the three young ladies in Congress? Go back to where you came from.
And you can just stack them up. And when we had a moment in our nation after George Floyd was murdered, instead of saying, we have to address this, we have to see each other, we have to engage, he's off over here. It's all about looting and rioting. That's the only thing this is about. We got to stand with our police. It has to be possible for a national leader to say, I respect and support the 3 million police officers who go out to work every day.
I never see you this fired up, by the way.
Do a really hard job. Well, think what I just lived through the last 3 weeks have been unbelievable. But I'll finish. You have to be able to say, I support and respect the police and the job they do keeping us safe.
Right.
And in a democracy, they have to be able to do that job without violating the basic civil rights and taking away the lives of a distinct part of American society. If it only happened once or twice or 3 times, maybe you could say this was some horrific mistake or error and attributable to just 1 or 2 or 3 officers. But how many times this year alone have we seen a black man or woman killed by police in police action under circumstances where you look at it and you go, that's just not right. George Floyd's killing produced mass protests for the first time in a generation that were multiracial, that happened in inner cities, in suburbs, and in small towns all over the country, because the visual evidence of what happened was so brutal and so clear. But just think about, right, what just happened in Philadelphia.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's got to be possible to say, I support police and respect what they do, and I expect transparency and accountability.
Let me ask you 2 quick questions.
That's one of the biggest challenges we've got, and we need a president who can lead us through that together.
You know, they pulling the...
they're pulling me.
Yeah. 2 quick questions, right?
Yep, sure.
And you can answer them really quickly. If this guy gets back, and it's possible that the United States Supreme Court will overthrow Obamacare, which is scary, especially with people with preconditions, right?
Yep.
And also, do you think he takes a lot of credit for the economy that Obama inherited a bad economy from Bush, and he brought it around and brought that money up?
What he's particularly good at is inheriting things and messing them up.
Okay.
He inherited a fortune from his father. This is not a self-made man. If you go look at the actual history of his business role in his business leadership, it's not what you see on The Apprentice. The Apprentice is reality TV. It's not reality. This is a guy who managed to go bankrupt running casinos. What do you know about casinos? They make money.
Yeah, right.
They always win.
They always get my money.
He's gone bankrupt. Mine too. He's gone bankrupt several times. He stiffs the people who do the work, the contractors, the laborers. He stiffs them. Right? I mean, there's cases all over the country, people furious. We knew this about him before he ran in 2016. No major bank would loan him money because they'd all had bad experiences.
But why can't you guys look at his taxes?
What a fabulous question.
It's all a good question.
He keeps saying, as soon as I'm done being audited. That's BS. He is the first president in modern history to not disclose his taxes, and where he has a network of businesses all over the world where foreign governments are paying significant amounts of money to his businesses. And he said, I'm going to get out of them. I'm going to hand them to my sons, and my sons will have nothing to do with politics. Remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
He said that 4 years ago. Are his sons involved in politics? They're speaking at every campaign rally he's got.
The whole family is, yeah.
It is a family business. And when you saw that speech at the Republican convention where Trump was, you had hundreds of average people at a super spreader event right in front of the White House.
That's crazy.
And then his family in these great big chairs elevated. I've seen that in other countries.
Wow.
Where the family begins to run the country as a business. I don't like the direction this is going.
Because you know what? If this guy wins again, it's quite, he might try to get a 3rd term. He might try to become a real dictator.
But he has said that publicly.
Yeah. I like the Lincoln Project, too.
I'm reading Michael Cohen's book.
Oh, is that out?
Mm-hmm. One of the things he says, Donald Trump doesn't joke. He never jokes. He doesn't have a sense of humor. So when he says, maybe I should have a 3rd term, maybe I should be elected forever, he's not joking.
Wow.
Michael Cohen, who knows him incredibly well because he was his personal lawyer and advisor, also says he does not expect him to give up the presidency.
Senator, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And let me get a quick word in for Lynn, T. Lynn Matthews. She says she wants to come and say a prayer at your prayer breakfast or the Senate. Could you make that happen?
We should have her be a guest chaplain at the USA.
Can you make that happen?
I can.
And if you, oh God, I can't come eat at the White House.
It gets easier if I have a Democratic senator from Georgia.
Oh, good comeback. Ladies and gentlemen, we get it done on Crossfire, man. Hey, thank you. Seriously, man, I appreciate you. I love you. I always watch you on. I'll be texting this guy when he's on CNN.
I'm literally wired up and ready to go, and I get something from you normally. Give it to him today.
Dude, because you get it done. You get it done. Thank you.
Thanks.